Hey team, in today's video we're going to be reviewing our new refrigeration motor lineup for our truck stock. As you can see in front of you, right here to the right, we have the Fasco 9721, which is an extremely versatile motor. It's really a must-have on your truck stock. If you don't have one, or at least a variation of it, then you're really missing the ball there. These other two motors that we have right here are the Mars 10850 and the Mars 10852. Both of these particular motors right here are ECM motors. The one to the right is a PSC. Different technology, both pretty much do the as far as the end result, right? Moving air over the heat exchanger or coil, they get the job done. Except two of these motors will do it a little bit more efficiently than the other. So surprisingly, I actually just came across these two particular motors right here. They've been out for, I'd say, anywhere from about 6 to 8 years, but in Southern California, I want to say I found out within the last few weeks. And the way I found out was there was a particular flyer that was left on the counter of one of the wholesalers that we pick up our parts from. Asked the guys about it. They had no idea, no information or anything in regards to these particular motors. So I had to kind of pull up some of the info from the manufacturer there. Now, as you can see, the body types for all these motors are pretty much exactly the same. So they're going to be fitting in that in a bracket that's obviously going to house this type of motor. I don't see a frame size on here. Let me see. Yeah, I think the reference really is it's just a 3.3-inch commercial refrigeration motor is what it would be categorized as. Some of the bigger motors, they'll have different frame sizes, and what that indicates is the size of the motor, the diameter, and the shaft size, length, width, excuse me, diameter, items like that. Now, with these two particular motors right here, um, even though they look the same, there are some variations with them, right? Now, this is a two-speed motor, okay? And the one to the right is actually a variable speed motor. So the two-speed motor right here will have an RPM of either 1550 or I believe it's 800. Should be listed on there. And the one to the right of it is a variable speed motor from anywhere 600 RPM all the way up to 2000 RPM. Both of these motors have specific ways as far as achieving the multi-speed, right? This one is a little bit more complex. You need some other components that go with it, one being your smartphone and another one being an adapter that connects into the motor so you can change the specific settings that you require. This one right here, the 10850, is, I would say, pretty close to the Fasco 9721 as far as being able to get a system up and running. The plus with this um, is that it actually saves you money, right? So this one will definitely save the customer money. This one is made to be going into the evaporator section. I was looking at some of the information. It actually has a maximum ambient heat of about 131 degrees, right? So if you're in the desert areas, Riverside, Arizona, there's no way that the electronic components are going to be able to survive the high heat, the ambient heat in those areas. So it's best to keep this specifically within the evaporator, walk-in cooler or walk-in freezer. Now, the Fasco 9721, which is this bad boy right here, this guy is a workhorse, okay? You'll find it at a number of different, within a number of different manufacturers' condensers. Now this right here is the replacement version of those OEM motors. Pretty much all the exact same specs. This one will actually replace a number of different motors. I think it goes from, if I remember correctly, well, it actually has some specs right here. Let's see if it's listed on here. No, but it is listed on the box, and it replaces motors from 1/12 horsepower all the way up to, or through 1/20th HP. So yeah, so you have a number of different motors that kind of fall within that category. This guy definitely a must-have. So what we're going to end up doing on our trucks is we're going to only, typically we have at least 2 of these motors, and we didn't have any of these motors over here. So this one, we're actually going to be trying these 2 out. This one right here, we would be offering to customers, let's say some retrofit applications, depending on what they want to do in different packages, because we also have some other controls that we work with that definitely help save energy. Depending on which way the customer would go, we would have to determine whether this is going to work within that program or not. Something that's going to be fast to get a system up and running, and at the same time be able to save energy on that back end. We're going to be going with the 10850. And the reason being, it's pretty simple. You're able to remove the old motor. The bolts will typically match up to whatever the bracket size it's going to be in there. The brackets, typically have different variations as far as their holes and how they line up. But you can either mount it from the front, or you can also mount it from the back over here. This particular motor is totally encased, enclosed, with the exception of a few holes. I don't know if you can see them there. There's one right there. And it also needs to be mounted a certain way, right? So you have some holes down here. I'm not too sure what those holes, the purpose of those holes serve. But it does mention that it needs to be mounted with the lead ends down, right? Now, it's multi-voltage, like all of these motors are. So 115/230, they're all able to achieve that. And the most common RPM, I'd say, is 1550. That's why each of these motors pretty much comes locked in on default at 1550. This particular motor over here, the Fasco 9721, that one I believe has 2 speeds depending on what hertz rating you're going to be running at, either 50 or 60, along with some of the voltage settings. But typically over here in America, we're going to be running 60 hertz, and that's going to take us up to that 1550. Alright, yeah, so hopefully this video was able to help some people out. Honestly, I haven't installed one of these motors yet. For me, it looks fairly simple. They have these Lyol plugs here. Typically on these new units, that's the disconnect that you're going to be, disconnect adapter that you'll have to be able to remove a motor. Some of the old school motors or the old school setups, you'll just have the wires just straight threaded out to where you'll use some sort of wire connector to get it up and running. And yeah, so I'm pretty excited to be able to try out this motor. I'm sure some of our customers would appreciate being able to save some money. The cost difference on this after it's being installed is roughly, I mean, depending on where what wholesaler you go to, or what contractor you get this installed from, the difference in pricing will probably be anywhere from about $30 to about $70 between the two. And the reason being is because this one is definitely more expensive, and this one being the most expensive out of the 3. But all in all, I'm pretty excited. Hopefully this motor will work out. I know some of the OEM motors that are ECM, sometimes they do have issues, and I've actually replaced a number of them with this guy right here. And haven't had any issues, and typically it's because we need to get these units up and running ASAP. All those OEM motors, they're really special order. and it could take a few days to be able to get them up and running. So by the time you order that motor, you pick it up, head back down to the customer's getting hit with a lot of charges. So the best thing for everybody is to just get them up and running with something that you'll know is able to get the job done. Now that we have, or at least we've come across this aftermarket ECM motor that seems to be pretty promising here. I'll probably try to come back with a review after we've put it in a few places. We'll see how things go and see if we can save some energy out here in California. It's pretty expensive, and we'll see what projects we can kind of combine them with other energy savings controls. Other than that, if there's any questions or if I left something out, if you need some more detail, let me know, and then maybe I can make another video. Thank you very much, and hopefully this was informative.